Hello, friends. The issue of integration, obtaining documents, and interacting with the government bureaucracy abroad is always a clash between the dry paragraphs of the law and real human lives. In today's reality, the migration systems of European countries, including Poland, are facing unprecedented pressure. And because of this, the mechanisms that have been refined over the years are starting to fail, and foreigners who have tied their lives to a new country become hostages of prolonged administrative procedures. Now let's talk about residence permits and citizenship. Watch the video until the end. Friends, please like, subscribe to the channel, and share this video. It's important. Thank you for the like in support of aerodynamics and to everyone who takes 2 seconds to do it. Now, let's get down to business. While some are trying to solve the problem systematically through petitions, public campaigns, and dialogue with ministries, others face the fact that even an impeccable life over many years, a successful business, and heroic deeds can be called into question because of some minor offenses many years ago. Going through this process requires applicants not only to be patient, but also to have impeccable accuracy in preparing every document, because a small mistake can lead to years of waiting or an unexpected rejection. Yes, friends, by the way, you write in the comments that processing documents in Poland today is turning into an endless, exhausting, and unpredictable quest. Write how long you waited for your cherished residence card, and I'll tell you that, yes, it's true. The local bureaucratic machine has been tightening the screws for a long time. The offices are overloaded, there aren't enough inspectors, cases can get stuck in review for many months, and sometimes even years, because of some inaccuracies. To avoid uncertainty about approval and prevent issues if your old documents expire before new ones are ready, I recommend letting professionals handle all the paperwork. The lawyers from the Immigrant's Guide handle the entire process turnkey, from a detailed audit of your status to submitting through the MOZ2 system. By the way, you can get a Tesukar card for just 500 zlotys using my promo code Denis Lukianov. The link is in the description. Until the official acceleration of already delayed cases. There are great discounts for families right now, 50% off for children, and convenient installment payments where the first payment for a residence card for work is only 300 zlotys. Follow the link, write to the manager, and mention who referred you. Now let's look at some specific examples to see how things are going in this area and what fighting the system on your own actually leads to. Let's move on to our first topic. Yes, for your convenience, there will be time codes. A people's revolt against bureaucracy. A petition has appeared to speed up residence cards. A vivid example that the situation with legalization has reached a critical point was a recent public initiative. This is the Pomeranian Voivodeship, where the capital is sunny Gdansk. A Belarusian citizen living in Poland, Valentin Koriv, launched a large-scale signature collection for a package of documents aimed at speeding up the legalization of foreigners. By the way, I also urge you to sign this document. You never know, as they say, water wears away the stone. It won't get worse, and it might get better. This campaign includes 2 petitions and 1 direct appeal to government authorities. And the main trigger for its creation was the months-long, and sometimes, as we've mentioned many times, years-long delays in processing residence permit applications. Formally, Polish law protects the foreigner. If the complete set of documents is submitted within the established deadlines, the person continues to stay in the country legally, right? This is evidenced by the stamp in the passport. But in practice, this intermediate state between heaven and earth creates a huge pile of everyday problems. Because without a residence card, without a plastic card, foreigners regularly face difficulties, even with something as simple as having their status confirmed by an employer. They can't open bank accounts or update their account information. They lose access to a number of government services, and in particular the 800+ benefit is given with great difficulty, if it's given at all, right? And what's most painful for some people is that they can't leave Poland, because the stamp doesn't give the right to re-enter the Schengen zone, and for some their mother got sick or someone else has issues to resolve, let's say, in Belarus or Ukraine. Okay, Ukraine is a different issue, but the petition focuses on Belarus and Belarusians, right? The petition by Rezon notes that depending on the region, waiting for a decision can take from several months up to 3 years. The initiative itself originated in the north of the country, where the problem of staff shortages in the voivodeship offices is felt especially acutely. But the proposed reforms are relevant for all of Poland. The activist plan is divided into 3 main areas. These are organizational changes, requirements to strengthen migration services, human resources, boost case review transparency, and better distribute inspectors' workloads. Well, friends, I'll tell you this. I also want to add a remark from myself that the salary there is usually minimum wage. Yes, the work isn't physically demanding, but it can be mentally exhausting, though at least you're not hauling heavy metal boxes. I sent my resume, but no one called back, even though they need inspectors. That was 3 months ago, but that's not the point. Let's get back to the topic of legislative simplification. Making changes to regulations that would simplify the repeated procedures for obtaining permits for those who haven't changed their place of work or residence, by reducing the number of required certificates. The third point, digitalization of processes. Full integration of government systems, creation of digital tools to verify the applicant's status online, and minimizing manual document processing. In the first few days, by the way, major channels, bloggers, and so on supported and signed the petition. The campaign is quickly gaining momentum, so I encourage you as well. So, the activists plan to collect signatures until June 23, after which the entire package of documents will be officially sent to the Pomor Voivode, the Parliamentary Committee on Petitions, and the Ministry of Digitalization. Let's hope that, excuse the tautology, things will finally get moving. Maybe this will give it some momentum. I really hope so. Even though I no longer need the Pobut card. So, next we have the second topic, a heroic act versus penalties, the story of a rescuer. Yes, Andre. So, while in the case of Pobut cards, foreigners struggle with the speed of the system, when it comes to obtaining citizenship, they have to deal with its absolute and sometimes paradoxical rigidity. A smooth transition from administrative delays to strict legal analysis is demonstrated by the story of a Ukrainian. Andrei is 32 years old, a young guy. His path to a Polish passport was jeopardized by trivial traffic fines, despite the fact that in Poland he is recognized as a true hero. A report about the man's fate was aired on the state TV channel TVPAU. And Andrei moved to Poland 11 years ago from the Luhansk region. I wonder where Andrei is from. If you're watching this video, write where you're from. I'm from Suchodolsk. Yes. Suchodolsk, Krasnodon, basically the same. So he came to earn money for the treatment of his seriously ill father. He settled in the town of Pesechno near Warsaw. He started a company for tree care and landscaping. He had a daughter. The man says he has Polish roots through his great-grandmother. He once had a Poles card and dreamed of restoring his family line in his ancestral homeland, wanting his daughter to be Polish. He noticed the clear difference in living standards between the Luhansk region and Poland. It makes sense that he chose to stay. In the spring of 2024, well, something like this happened. While driving for work, he saw a residential building on fire. Without thinking for a second, the man rushed into the flames. He carried 2 small children from the fire in his arms, suffering serious injuries, and burns himself. Andrei modestly credits his actions to his parents' upbringing, saying you can't just ignore someone in trouble. It would seem that such an act should remove any questions from the government about a person's integration. But a year and a half ago, Andrei applied for citizenship. He proved his knowledge of the language and his stable income, but the review of his case is being delayed. The reason was 2 old fines for traffic violations, traffic regulations. Well, one of them, yes, was a minor accident with no injuries. The second was speeding by 18 kilometers per hour. That's it. Representatives of the Ministry of Internal Affairs of the Polish administration explained the strict position of the department in their official statement. Kind of. From the point of view of the law, what do you think, dear friends, is considered by the authorities as a violation of traffic rules? As disregard for the rule of law of the state as a whole. That's how it is. And a person who claims the highest status, citizenship, must demonstrate absolute law-abiding behavior. Well, that means you have to be like a robot. You don't even have the right to park illegally. At a red light, I already joked with my friends that soon, if you cross at a red light, they'll deport you. And although the Ministry of Internal Affairs assures that each case is considered strictly individually, having fines can cross out many years of the applicant's achievements. I'll tell you, after 2024, when Karl Nawrocki came to power, may his days be prolonged, of course, the situation didn't get better, it got worse. Andrzej Duda didn't make decisions personally, it was handled in the office, but there were no such problems then. Even I, well, not criminal adventures, but yes, I was smuggling alcohol. I bought more alcohol at duty-free than allowed. I also worked illegally, yes. And parking violations too. Yes, 3 things. Let's get back to our hero. Andrei himself is puzzled and says, I have permanent residency through the Poles card routes. I saved a life after all. And he's forced to remain in limbo because of minor traffic fines. The man says that if current geopolitical threats reach Polish territory, he is ready to defend Poland with a weapon as he considers it his home. That's it. His case is still under review, but we'll keep watching. That's it. We wish Andrei good luck. What else did I want to say? Yes, about that, I hope that Andrei and the Ukrainians won't have to defend Poland with their own hands, because first of all, the Russian Federation won't attack, despite all the saber rattling and teeth gnashing. And secondly, there are already a huge number of patriots in Poland. I'm sure there will be a lot of them in my comments now. By the way, for some reason, no one asks, hey, Baldy, why aren't you at the front? What do you call that? Why does no one ask? Why is it like that? Why am I not at the front? Something about the UPA? Yeah, okay, that's enough. That's enough to add to the comments. So, friends, that's the information. We wish everyone a speedy receipt of residence cards and citizenship. Just a reminder, the immigrant guide is linked in the description. Friends, that's all for now. Take care of yourselves and your loved ones. See you next time. The petition link will be in the description. Comment the city you're watching from if you made it to the end. It's important. Dennis watched until the end from Amsterdam, Brussels, and Paris. Maybe someone will visit. I haven't been to France in a while. So that's all for now. See you next time.